Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. How are you today? I hope you are still healthy and in good condition. The Honorable Miss Lika Afrianti is our lecturer and all my beloved friends. Okay, we are from Group C. Before we start the presentation, I would like to introduce our member. The first one is myself, Cinta Andila, as first speaker and moderator, and Nabila Arifa as second speaker. Okay, let me start the presentation today about instructional assessment. Okay, I will explain to you about defining the assessment process. The first one is assessment. Assessment is an umbrella term that refers to entire process of collecting information and making judgment about instructional outcomes. And the second one is measurement. Measurement refers to the discussion about how the achievement of objectives will be operational that are quantified. And the last, evaluation. Evaluation is a judgment of merit or worth, often communicated via grading. Maksudnya di sini menentukan proses penilaian itu ada tiga. Yang pertama, penilaian, assessment, yaitu merujuk pada proses pengumpulan informasi dan membuat penilaian tentang hasil instructional. Yang kedua yaitu ukuran. Ukuran ini merujuk pada keputusan tentang bagaimana pencapaian sasaran yang akan operasional atau diukur. Yang terakhir, evaluation atau evaluasi. Evaluation atau evaluasi ini merupakan proses penilaian pada instructional tersebut. Okay, the next is evaluative feedback. The first one is basis for evaluation. There are two general bases for evaluating student learning. The first one is norm reference evaluation, tends to be criticized for unduly punishing moderate and high ability students in high ability class and unduly rewarding moderate and low ability students in low ability class. And the second one is criterion reference evaluation. It is based on absolute objective performance standard or criteria. Its intent is to indicate whether or not a student has mastered a behavior specified in a formal instructional objective. Maksudnya di sini norm reference evaluation ini merupakan evaluasi yang cenderung merujuk dikritik karena menghukum moderat secara tidak perlu dan siswa dengan kemampuan tinggi di kelas dengan kemampuan rendah. Nah, selanjutnya criterion evaluation didasarkan pada mutlak kinerja objektif standar atau kriteria. Tujuannya adalah untuk menunjukkan apakah seorang siswa tersebut telah menguasai perilaku yang ditentukan dalam tujuan instruksional formal atau belum. Okay, the next is descriptive feedback. Descriptive feedback has 2 points. There are feedback to student and feedback from student. The first one is feedback to student. As we have seen, evaluative feedback, which is communicated in the form of some sort of grading system, is likely to require a descriptive explanation so that its intended meaning can be interpreted.
Feedback from students. Descriptive feedback can be also be directed from the students to the teacher. This kind of feedback allows teachers to make change in classroom atmosphere, instructional strategies, and so forth based on student input. Assessment and effect. Being evaluated makes people feel vulnerable. Any adult who is in the positions of having to take a test to renew a driver's license or to obtain a license after having moved to a different state knows how much anxiety accompanies the possibility of failure. No matter how much one rationality tells oneself that marginally literate 16 years old pass the test every day, the prospect of taking a test or placing the right to drive a car on the line is uncomfortable. Similarly, Many teachers are wary of asking their students for feedback because they cannot get past the negative comments. Making judgment. In making the first decision, deciding how students will be judged, teachers should be compulsively explicit about what will constitute varying degrees of success and what will constitute failure. Clearly specified instructional objectives are a means of doing so, particularly in a mastery learning system where evaluation is limited to an assessment of whether or not an objective has been mastered or needs further work. In schools in which graduate grading scales are used, the kind of the school in which most of use work, the basis on which various grades will be assigned should be clear to everyone involved: students, parents, administrators, and the teachers themselves. Communicating judgment. The second decision teachers must make is how to communicate their judgment to students. We must provide more information to students about their performance than just their grades. Descriptive feedback can be reinforcing, and encouraging. Even work that is honestly and fairly evaluated as below standard can be returned with positive as well as corrective comments. Regular formative feedback will help many students do better than they would have done without it, and will give them an indication of how they are doing and how they can do better before they are formally evaluated. Judgment about the students as person should be kept separate from judgment about students' progress toward achieving learning objective.
Okay, thank you very much for Nabila Arifa. I think that's all for our presentation today. I'm so sorry for our mistake. Thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.